Hey, welcome, Aaron. Welcome back.
Thank you, David. Love being here. It's always fun.
I always messed it up. What company you with? Tell me again.
I'm with Guild Mortgage Company.
Guild Mortgage.
Yeah.
And that's the same girl I always tell you. What's her name? Rebecca?
Becca Green.
Becca Green.
Yeah,
She's been there forever. She's
I've
collecting
been
dust.
there a little longer.
Longer than that?
Yeah.
I always remember because I always told you before, like, because she's got red hair.
Yeah.
And I met with her, but I never did any business with her, but I always think of her for some reason.
I've seen her name a lot more than yours.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
But Aaron's actually a legend in the mortgage industry. How come you're not using Aaron?
Oh, I don't know.
How come?
Who do you use?
Oh, I use Rose.
Okay.
Yeah, she's with.
Rose?
She's my friend.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know,
happens.
there's that level of loyalty, right? And you
For sure.
follow them everywhere they go.
Mortgage is,
whatever company.
it's a relationship business.
Yeah.
You have to be,
Yeah.
you kind of want to be friends with
Escrow
with
too.
them.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I have those girls until they die. I suppose then I'll look for.
Or they quit or they retire.
Yeah, exactly. Then I go somewhere.
We have the
else.
legendary Steve Hawks here. Platinum Real Estate,
Legend.
professional services,
I don't know
multiple.
about that, yeah.
Legend.
A
Professional
legend.
services.
Whenever I
what
tell
kind?
John T, I say Steve's like, again? That guy talks too much.
No, I don't say that. That's bullshit. Don't listen. To him.
I'm like, that's the reason why we like the guy, because he talks so much. He needs his own podcast himself.
You
does.
do.
I always say the right things to John T.
Oh, that's a good idea. A realtor doing a podcast. That's original.
Is that something new?
That's something new.
Nobody does that.
But the difference with
Oh,
this is
yeah.
you're on the problem side, because we're talking about problems, what's going
Yeah.
on, right? It's different. All right, so the first thing is this. I'm going to start with John T with this one. Everyone keeps talking about in August, like this month, that Vegas is dead. You see all these different videos, like, people are basically losing jobs. Then you see the people in concerts mocking that concept of, hey, it's dead here, and then they show all the videos. So what's
Yeah.
going on in Vegas? You're the legend here.
For me personally, I think all that bullshit on social media is just clickbait. I truly think that, right? Because I go out almost every day. I mean, 2-3 times, a week on the strip, and it's not dead to me.
August is normally slower. What's your thoughts, Aaron?
Because
Steve?
it's summer, right?
It's hot as
I'm
hell.
talking about overall.
I mean, I think it's slower. I don't think it's dead. I mean, I think that, when you see it out there, that those videos you see are certainly clickbait.
Yeah.
But I do think Vegas has a problem. And the problem is that the value proposition in a lot of places, it's not everywhere. And that's the other thing the media doesn't do a great job of. Yeah, you can still go to the Palace Station, Gold Coast. You're going to get value. Durango Station, $1.99, margaritas. You're going to get value at those places. But I think the challenge that we've seen is that MGM Mirage, who owns so much of the strip now, you're not going to get value there, right? You're going to pay $40-$50 to park.
Absolutely.
If you want to get a steak, it's going to be $100. You want a double vodka soda, it's $30, right? And so I think that is
But
what's
that hasn't changed. That's always been like that.
it's just been high.
Yeah.
It's more.
No,
It's higher.
not always.
It's been high, but
okay, it's
today
gotten a
it's
little
higher.
bit higher.
And,
All
and I think to Steve's point, even them, they had their tiered casinos. They weren't all Bellagio, but now they're all priced like Bellagio, right? So I think that I think we just have to return to a value proposition, make people feel like if I go there and I want a $2 hot dog or I want $1 blackjack, I can find it easily. I don't have to go look for it.
Yeah, and not only that, like you said, it's value. You're paying $100 for a steak, but it's a $15 steak.
Right.
It's garbage.
And the service sucked to get
Well,
it.
of course the service sucks. Why? These people are miserable right now because you know why? People aren't tipping. Why aren't they tipping? Well, if I got to pay $50 to valet, guess what? That's $50 less I'm going to spend on tipping.
Sure.
If I got to spend $100 for a steak, guess what? I'm already feeling I got ripped off. The reason why people made so much tips in Vegas is because they felt, oh, wow, I'm getting a good deal here. Here you go. Thank you. And everybody was happy. Everyone was good. Everyone was good to go. And to your point, I think MGM and Caesars have like 80% of the rooms on the strip. So we don't have the Vegas doesn't, Vegas is way down, but it's not Vegas, okay? I mean, let's be very specific. It's the Vegas Strip. And it's because what we talked about a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, when you let Wall Street come in and equity strip your business, this is what happens. And they've raised all these prices. And what the big issue is that $50 that they pay for parking, that $50 they pay for valet, that $30, they pay for drinks, that money used to stay here in Vegas. That money used to go to people's tips, that $30, the drink was $10 and you get a $5 tip. Now the drink's $30 and you're lucky to get a $1 tip. Well, that money that the consumer was spending now is going where? It's going to Wall Street. So it's coming out of Vegas, the locals. So these hedge funds, these hedge funds that destroyed middle class home ownership in Vegas. Now the hedge funds are destroying middle class jobs in Vegas, unfortunately, but that's exactly what's going on. Because if You look at what's going on. The casinos that are, quote, dead or way down are what? On the Strip. Because guess what? You go downtown, they're still up like 15, 20%. They're killing it. That Circa, the Plaza, they're doing great. Station casinos had their best year in 49 years. Yeah. My friend has a friend has 20-year-old kids. All their friends fly in. Guess where they go? Durango Station. Yeah. Wait. You're flying in from out of state? And you're not going to Cosmo, you're not going to Hakkasan, no, we're going to Durango Station. Why? Because we're treated like we were when Vegas was a good value, right? When the Strip was a good value. Take away Vegas. We got to make sure we're specific. It's certain hotels on the Strip that Wall Street has taken over with equity stripping. And they've raised the prices, to your point. It's always been a little bit more. But what happened is these bean counters on Wall Street, they're so far away from the consumer that they, 21, 22. Oh, look, people are willing to pay $100 a steak. People are willing to pay. Well, yeah, they're willing to pay that because it's free money. They're not paying their mortgage. They're not paying their car. They're not paying their credit cards. They don't have to pay their rent because of all the forbearances and all the, non-evictions going on. So people weren't saving that money. They're spending the money. In fact, my friend worked at Lake Las Vegas, and the hotel out there, the best day they ever had at the pool was July 4th of 2020 because everybody was using their free money. He said it was crazy. So these Wall Street bean counters are like, oh, look, we're going to sell the land and we're going to, this is how much money we're going to make. Look how much money we're making per client, per hotel room. They're willing to spend this much. They're willing to spend this much. Well, yeah, because they're not spending money on rent. They're not spending money on student loans. Their credit cards don't have to be paid. Because remember, for 5 years, if you couldn't afford your mortgage, you could get a forbearance. Multiple of them.
Wall Street bean counters. That's interesting.
You know what's interesting to what Steve hasn't touched on yet, though? If you think about it, COVID's a great example and probably what led to here, right? In COVID, remember when we were trying to get people to come back? And even the high-end properties were like $75 a night. And then you'd see those videos online of what? People literally having fights in the middle of Bellagio and Wynn and these high-end properties that were attracting maybe lower-income people because they were just trying to get people back. And I think that scared those properties, right? Those properties pretty soon after raised the prices back up. And they said to themselves, we'd rather stay high and be 50% occupied than be $99 a night and have these people in here that are going to cause problems, right? And so I think there's some of that. So I think that a lot of people want to say that they're deaf right now. They're not listening because they should be providing value proposition. It may be.
It could be a new strategy just that they want to maintain.
Yeah. They're like, I'd rather not have.
So how is the
But here's where I don't fully, that was true then. But you got to remember, a lot of those people coming, we're using free money. That's not going to happen again because the free money's gone.
John T, did you get your free money?
No.
Why not?
I mean, look how many of these people were getting, tens of thousands of dollars, and I know a lot of people that got hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Where they spent on everything. A lot of people came here and gambled, and to your point, a lot of that happened. All those fights. Well, a lot of them were paying with those cards.
But let's go back to remember when the NBA All-Star game was here? It was a huge deal. NBA All-Star game came and the town just got decimated for a week. There'll never be another NBA All-Star game again unless there's an NBA team here and it's super controlled. So I think these casino owners have very long memories. So I think to your point, even though you'd say, they're not getting the free money, I think they're so afraid that would happen again. That just like the NBA All-Star game, why haven't we even attempted to try it again?
So here's a question: for everything going on the Strip, or some people losing jobs, or it's slow, how is it basically impacting local real estate?
Well, I mean, I think that more leads is more business. Period. So the more people that come now. To her point,
no, I'm saying, but things are going downhill or more south for August. What do we foresee September? We have a crystal ball. I mean, basically, if people are losing some jobs, or the Strip is very high priced. What happens in the current real estate market right now, or what do we think in September?
Don't you think summer, as far as real estate, has always been kind of a slow, slightly slower, and then when fall starts again, real estate kicks up again, right?
I think it's also because of social media. I think that basically people, right? Like a perfect example is whenever I laugh because realtors, right? Like a lot of realtors are on social media. So the Nicki Minaj challenge, how come you didn't do that? You know what the challenge was? My wife even did
down thing?
That was where you're like on one foot and you cross over.
Right.
Like
I haven't even done that.
Once someone that does it. all the other realtors copy, right? Like it's like a frenzy. So right now the frenzy is like, look how the strip
Yeah.
is so horrible, and then now the other frenzy is like when they're at the clubs or the Backstreet Boys, they're showing the video. Look how dead it is, and they're showing the place is packed.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the local people, yes, they don't want to travel. The parking is always the stick. You know, even if you have 3 hours, some places you have 3 hours to park for free. But now you're like on a time crunch. Like I got 3 hours. I just parked the car. We gotta go. No one wants to spend $40, $50, $60 on parking. So local people go
at a
back to local
principle.
places.
It's principle.
Principle. I
Even
agree.
people that can
They
afford it, right? Like
Yeah.
I talked about this about. I did a podcast with Mike Rowland, and we talked about even the people can afford it. They're not going to go back to these establishments if they feel they're being taken advantage of.
I agree.
And that's what they are.
Yeah.
And the impact on locals is right now horrendous because if you're on the strip right now, many of those people are saying, "Hey, my hours are cut. I'm not getting any call-ins. There's about to be massive layoffs right now at some of the casinos that they've announced. But the big thing is the tips. The tips are way down. That's going to have a huge impact, not just on those particular people, but the restaurants around the area. So yeah, it's
affecting
going
people.
to have and we're seeing rents drop already. So
By the way, I've had several people that that come to my home that are friends with my wife and so on, and they work on the strip and they're saying the same thing, and they're saying, almost, should I sell the home or can I call the bank and do like a forbearance? Like they're nervous of the future. Have you had that, or maybe
No, I
your people are a
haven't.
little bit different?
But
Yeah.
the
I
key
haven't got
word
that.
you said right there was strip. Ain't nobody at Station Casinos. Ain't nobody at
Okay.
South Point, Michael Gahn. You go to Michael Gahn on a Thursday, South Point, it's packed. Michael Gahn knows how to run things. He knows how to keep his people happy. He knows how to keep his consumers happy. He knows how to keep his customers happy. And that's what the strip casinos don't have right now. They don't have a Michael Gahn. That's what they need. Hopefully when the Fertitta, one of the Fertittas buys the rest of the Wynn, the Wynn's actually doing pretty decent. Their numbers are actually very good right now. Well, how is Wynn and Encore doing so well at these high prices? Well, because they're charging high prices, but guess what? The consumer feels, you know what?
With value.
I don't mind paying the high price because I'm getting the value for it. Like you said, the value
Nicer place,
proposition.
property.
And like you said before, why am I going to pay Encore prices or Wynn prices at these other casinos but not get the same service or same experience?
But David, I think you hit the nail on the head for the entire challenge for the housing market here and everywhere. It's not rates, it's not home prices, it's fear. People are afraid, and I think they're afraid of, one, I'm going to lose my job in certain areas. But I think more importantly, they're just afraid because their friends and their family and everybody in their life are saying prices are too high, rates are too high. You know, it doesn't matter what the numbers show. I can show somebody all day long that the payment's $2,800 a month. You make $12,000 a month. You can easily afford that. It's too high. Right, my friend said I should wait till rates go down to 4.
Yeah,
Well, it's never going to happen again, probably.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you know, but there's all this fear, and until we strip that fear away,
right.
So
Well,
even
you know
though
what's
this-
going to strip that fear away?
low rates.
September.
No. Lower prices.
Yeah,
lower price of
Who's-
yeah,
hey,
low rates.
Hey, if people want to know, yes, lower rates, and if rates drop, is that we're going to see a significant bump? No, we're going to see a little bit for first 9 days, and it's going to go back to how it was because we have to see prices drop.
Are prices being
The
affected right
prices-
now
And not
because
only
of what's
that,
going on in
even
the strip?
Prices are
Zillow
dropping.
just came out with a study, and so did I think Housing Wire that said, yeah, you know, if rates drop, it's not going to have that significant of a factor. We need rates and prices to drop because the affordability level is out of control.
It's gone higher.
Yeah,
for sure.
and all these DTIs, you know, there's a lot of people out there that can qualify and you know afford qualify for the loan and get that loan, but they still can't afford the house many times because the DTIs are outdated now because. You know, the DTI is a 30-40% DTI. Well, that was based on your grocery and your food bill being about 3 or 4% of your income. It was based on your power bill being 2 or 3% of your income. All that's gone up now. So the DTI that's 40% is really 50 to 55% now. You follow me?
Yeah.
So for the past, that worked. And car insurance is going up. So that has to be taken
Yes.
into an account. So when these prices drop and the rates drop, it's not like it's going to go back to 2022 because those other factors aren't there. Don't forget, in 2022, we had an artificial shortage because of the forbearances. We had free money. We had PPP. We had EBC. We had ABC. We had all these things. I didn't go on and on.
2.5% interest rates.
Right? Yeah. So not only do we have low rates, we had all these other factors that people aren't considering. So yeah, in the past when rates dropped, do prices go up? Yes, but that was the only factor that changed. This time we have a lot more factors to consider. And here, perfect example. We had a guy that was an Uber driver. Okay? He bought 3 houses with us. He got $65,000 from the PPP or one of those things, and he used it to buy 3 houses. Well, is that going to happen again? No. And do you think at least one of those houses he's probably having problems with right now?
With making the,
Is
making the
he?
payment.
You would know.
And I know a lot of people that got over $100,000 that bought houses with it. And if you go on social media now and all that, you'll see a lot of these, people that bought the last 3 years, the FOMOs, fear of missing out, they're not going to be buying this time around. And not only they're not buying, to your point about people talking about, hey, don't buy. Well, a lot of these people that fear of missing out, well, now it's the opposite because, hey, I didn't buy the last 20. I didn't buy. I tried to buy in 2022 or 23, but I couldn't get in. But my friend that bought, did you see him on social media? He's complaining. He says it's the worst thing he's ever done. He's not making money, blah, blah, blah. The payment went up. Nothing was fixed. Well, yeah, because the property taxes and insurance went up. He thought his payment was fixed, right? So it's going to be interesting to see. The fear of missing out will be gone this time. Nobody's going to be, fear of missing out on a good deal because they already seen their family or friend that bought a house the last 3 years that they're on social media, they're on TikTok saying, yeah, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that. I didn't know my payment was going to adjust. Well, your payment didn't adjust, but the property tax and insurance adjusted. I didn't know a hot water heater cost $1,500. I didn't know an air conditioner was $22,000. I didn't know my roof was going to be $15,000. I didn't know. See, all these people now are on social media and they're telling their friends.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago in 2022, everyone's like, buy. You got to get in. 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 The prices are going to skyrocket. Well, now when we look back, and the prices skyrocketed. Now they're coming back. But what else skyrocketed? The cost of living and the cost of that house, the maintenance.
Well,
Thank you, Biden.
Especially homeowners insurance.
Yeah.
But I do think the one part I will disagree with Steve on that is that I do think there will be exuberance to some extent because whenever anybody has to wait for anything, people get impatient. And so there's a lot of people out there the last 3 years who really want to leave their house, right? But they just can't justify it because my interest rate's 3. Right? I really don't want to go into a 6 or 7, even though my payment's probably only going to go up $300 a month because the insurance stuff is already happening on the house they're in. And I think that at some point, and they see those numbers, like you said, my AC goes out. It's not $2,000, it's $20,000. I need to change my roof. It's $15,000.
That's
I want
why
to change my kitchen.
I have my clients buy home warranty.
But those
Always.
those people are going to buy new homes.
Or I think they will go buy,
Yeah.
right? So I think that you have these pent up people that are falling out of love with their home. The only reason why they're sticking around is this low rate, and at some point that kind of goes away, right? And so, but I do think, to Steve's point, that rate's going to have to be really much lower than it is today.
Right. And
You know?
and when that
It's going to have
happens,
to be new because they're going to want to know that when I go to this next house, I'm not changing my AC for 10 or 15 years.
But how about the people that so stuck with what the interest rates were, like the 2-3%, and that's what they're thinking it's going to go back to? And I'm like, no, that may not.
we keep on
happen
talking
again.
about interest rate, but
Yeah.
people don't buy or sell because
I'm
of rate.
talking about buyers.
Yeah, right now, but they
yes.
don't buy because of
Yes.
interest rate.
Payment.
They buy because of payment.
Payment. Right,
So
okay.
we're all talking interest rate.
Yeah.
Well, if everyone says interest rates are only going to go down to 5 or 6, okay, that's fine. The interest rates are going to go down to 4.5 maybe, or if you're super lucky, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, the payment's still not going to be where I need to be. Okay, then what's going to have to happen, folks? The price is going to have to come down.
Right.
And we now see the home builders, Lennar, dropped their prices again since our last conversation. They're down 20%, 19.5% is their exact number. So Lennar is now down 19.5% from the peak. So their prices are back down to 2020 levels.
Okay.
And they're still not selling. But hey, don't forget, that price that they're talking about, that doesn't include the incentives they're giving.
Right,
So
right.
that $500,000 house isn't $500, it's $420 because they're giving $50,000 or $60,000 because their average incentives is $56,000 or $62,000. One of them, Pulte, between them and Pulte, but that's not covered in there. So if I'm a seller and when the rates drop, I think my price is going to go up. Now, remember, there's 2 markets in Vegas, under 500, over 500. Under 500 is skewed because of the hedge funds, right? So that's going to be a different thing. But over 500, when you have a lot of these new homes, well, when the rates drop, our price is going to go up. Well, I don't know. Why don't we take a trip over here to these new builders? That new home builder was $650. Now it's $500, and they're still not selling. Oh, by the way, they're offering a 3.9% interest rate. So now they got a lower price, a lower rate, and they're still not selling.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Homeowner, where are you getting your information that your $600,000 home is going to go to $750 when the rates drop?
Right.
What are the chances? Could it happen? Sure, it could.
Yeah.
What are the chances? 5%? 10%? What's a better chance? What's more of a 60 to 70, 80% chance at that price that your 650 is going to be 550 next March? And like Aaron said, when people finally say, yeah, I'm going to move out, what happens when all these people decide to become buyers? They put their house on the market.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? I'm cool. I found a new house. I'll drop this house $100,000. I'll drop it 150 because you know what? I just want to get out of here and I don't want to have these other expenses. So every time someone says, yeah, I'm going to buy another house, well, 40 to 50% of those people are sellers. So that's going to be more inventory.
Okay, listen.
Well,
let me
we'll see where it goes.
let me jump into one thing real quick. So,
And real quick, guess what starts September 25th? What was one of the number one reasons that, the events that we did at LVR, one of the top reasons that prices went up the last 5 years, 3 years, however we want to look at it, was because there's an artificial shortage of inventory too by the forbearances. Remember?
Yeah.
The forbearance frenzy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that have made 2 or 3 payments since 2020 because you get the forbearance and they allowed you to do, in 2023 when prices started to fall, they did the forever forbearance program. So now you can just keep on getting as many forbearances as you wanted. Well, September 25th, that ends. You can only do 1 forbearance every 24 months. So people are going to be shocked when they try and get the forbearance again. Like, oh, no, we don't do that anymore. You've already had one in the last 24 months.
Yeah.
That's going to be the wild card that we're going to see because I personally have about 500 people that have called in the last 18 months that wanted to sell their house. But I told them because they couldn't afford it.
Okay.
And I said, just call and get a forbearance because if we sell your house, you're not going to get any money. You might get a couple grand or negative a little bit. So just get the forbearance and live there for free as long as you can or work it out. Well, guess what? All those people aren't going to get forbearances anymore.
wait, this is a good one. Hence the problem solver. So you're saying basically if someone didn't do a forbearance in the past, it's to every 24 months they can get one.
Yes.
After September 25th. they're
okay.
changing it.
But does that mean they're not making the payments now? October, November, like how long does it last for? Isn't it money just at the end?
It depends on the. Go ahead.
Well, so there's 2 different types of workouts, right? There's more of a permanent workout and there's a temporary workout. What Steve's talking about is a permanent workout where a forbearance would be more of a permanent workout. It's not permanent, but it's longer term, right? So you can only do one of those every 2 years. So if I get a forbearance, which is, hey, you know what? Don't worry about your payment. Pay when you can. We're not going to take your house. We understand your challenge.
Does it affect your credit at all?
Sometimes. Depends on how they do it.
Depends how they report it.
Yeah.
You're not going to buy a new house during that because the next lender is going to figure that out. But you will be able to do temporaries, okay, meaning that I did a forbearance in the last 2 years, but now I lost my job. I really lost my job. They may be able to say, okay, you got 60 days to get a job. We'll pause your payment for 60 days. That'll be allowed, but none of this longer term stuff. So to Steve's point, a lot of people, the biggest challenge we have in the market why prices haven't come down is there's no motivation for any seller. There's literally no motivation. If you haven't been working, you're not making your payment, I'm making less in tips, I call my lender, I say, hey, I just can't afford it. Boom, we work this thing out like instantly, right? That's just been the nature of the game for the last 5 years. But so that has kept people from selling their house. Look, Steve's gotten 500 calls where I need to sell my house, and he's done the right thing as an agent and said,
Good point. Like
it's not the right thing for you to do. But most agents would say, hey, I'll be by today to write a contract. Let's get it on the market, right? And so we haven't seen short sales because probably a third of the ones Steve would have taken may have been short sales if they bought in the last couple of years.
So to do people a favor, you're saying, hey, just do the forbearance if they can.
There's no reason to sell your house.
Well, yeah, not only that, I'm also doing myself a favor because I'm going to spend all this time I get an offer on their house and then I'm getting $5,000. Well, I could have made the $5,000 by living in my house for 12 months for free. I would have made $40,000.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you're doing the right thing by that. But it is an interesting strategy.
And that's how
to help people.
That goes all the way back to 2008 with the buy and bail and short sale and all that stuff.
Cash for
and
use.
loan modifications. But yeah, like Aaron said, the people, anytime you had a problem, you just did a forbearance and they would forgive it. And don't forget, thousands of people in Las Vegas that did forbearances, the money that went back on the back end, a lot of times because the state paid that off. Remember? Because of the COVID funds, they were, thousands of people had their forbearances paid off. So it's not even on the back end.
Which I'm assuming that won't happen now.
No, September 25th, it's
forward,
over.
no.
So I guess this is a really interesting question because if things are going on the strip and people have less tips and so on, then forbearance may really be an option for some people. Even if their credit's affected a little bit, at least they're in their one home that most people have. So forbearance may be. It's interesting you saying this because I said
or
someone
just loan workout. You know, I mean, loan workouts, any type of loan workout. You know, I worked
just
at
call them up and say like I need some time. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I worked at the biggest bank in America for a lot of years, and we were the center of the mortgage crisis because of the acquisition of Countrywide. But banks hate foreclosure.
Got it.
They learned that lesson in
Because it hurts them also with acquiring and leveraging more loans from the government, right?
Well, more importantly, it's bad PR.
Got it.
You end up on the news kicking some single mom out with a baby. That is not good for your bank. Number two, it's expensive. To kick somebody out of their house, you got to pay an attorney. It costs about $40,000 or so per house to kick
For the
them out.
lawyers.
So what they started to do was, as you know, is they started selling the distressed asset to hedge funds. So a hedge fund comes in, you owe $300,000. They buy the note from a big bank for $180,000.
They're losing.
And now they have a new cost basis. They're more than willing to let you stay there for free for the next couple of years. Or, hey, how about you pay me some rent, right? And so as long as you today, in my opinion, are willing to have a conversation with the lender,
Okay.
they're probably not going to take your house.
Okay.
Now, they may put money on the back end of your loan or whatever, and they may scare you enough to think, hey, I probably should sell this thing, because they're going to say, to Steve's point, we're not going to go 2 years. We're going to go 6 months, right? Or we're going to go 3 months. Go get a job, right? Go figure this out. And then when they come back and their payment is $3,000 a month, they may say, look, even though I know my bank's not going to take my house, I got a chance now because at least I have 100,000 of equity or 50,000.
100%.
Let me get out of here with a couple bucks versus
And then if
losing it all.
interest rates go down,
And not only that, the house across the street, I can rent it for $1,500 less a month than my mortgage.
Right.
And guess what? When my hot water AC goes out or anything else, I just call the landlord and it's fixed. I don't got to pay $1,500 for a hot water heater or my ceiling fan goes out. So that is now coming into play again. Exactly what you
'Cause
just
it's too
said. The
expensive.
forbearances, people are gonna in the past like, oh, just put it on, we'll figure it out, blah blah blah. But now they see that, wait a minute, these forbearances are gonna start hitting my equity. And before the prices were going up, right? Oh my goodness, look at the prices going up. Now, not only doing a forbearance and that's eating away at their equity, now they're starting to see prices drop.
got it. John T, what's your thoughts with this? I know you deal with like more.
I'm listening.
No, but I
I'm
wanted your
in the
input
phase.
because you deal with a lot of more high end people. Would you say, or like, what's your take on that?
You know, I have a.
It just affected me recently. Like I said, someone came to the
Yeah.
home, so it's very interesting this conversation, which I would not have this knowledge if it wasn't today.
Right,
but it is
right.
an interesting strategy.
Well, Steve is full of information, way more than I have now, and you probably deal with more people than I do. Like I have my cluster and my group of clients that I've had for a long time, and I don't know, I don't get the same issues or problems, or I don't hear it, or they don't share it with me. So yeah.
Well,
I mean,
that's a great point
Yeah.
because if you think
Everyone's
about it,
different who they.
if you think about it, people in the higher end, they don't deal with this. They don't care about interest rates. They
Right.
have good jobs, and go ahead and raise my hazard insurance by 30%. I can still easily afford it. Raise my property taxes, no big deal. It really affects the more common worker who's tip reliant, and now you're in an environment where tips are down. So they're facing a double whammy right now. They're in a stagnant housing market. To Steve's point, people are a lot more confident when their home's appreciating by 5 to 40% a year. If they feel home rich, they'll spend more money. They feel more rich, period, right? But if all of a sudden we're in stagnation and the market's appreciating 1% a year, 2% a year, or even going down, really the market should be going down. The reason why it's not going down is, like we're talking about, homeowners aren't feeling the pressure. So if I had $200,000 of equity 2 years ago, and I'm thinking about selling my house today because what we talked about, I want a new kitchen, I want to do this, and you come in and offer me, $150,000 on top of what I owe versus $2, I'm probably saying no.
But see, I think prices have been going down, decreasing, because a lot of sellers have decreased their prices, and you can even now go in and negotiate even more because of that stagnation.
Well,
right?
But they all have a bottom number, right? They're they're not going to give it away. Right?
Absolutely.
Homes above 500 have come down, I would say 20% in a lot of areas, 15% in a lot of areas, 20% in some. Because you can go look right now at houses that are on the market that are 15 or 20% below the peak.
Yeah.
And they're not selling. So when they do sell, let's just say they sell for that price. There's your 15, 20%. Where people are getting confused and sellers are being misled is they look at the median price. The median price is the worst indicator of the value of your house. And that's the figure they're using. It's like the labor numbers and job numbers. The median is truly, I would say, a fake indication of if prices are going up or down. And even when prices were going up, the median price was a bad indicator because it was only showing 10, 15%. And there's many reasons why the median price is a bad indicator. Number one, it's not even the same house every month, right? It's a different house. And all it is, it's that house that's in the middle, whatever that house is. So it's just a random house. And then you have the median price. You're comparing a 1950 house to a 2024 house. You're comparing 1 stories to 2 stories, pools, no pools. That has, Summerlin, a house, Summerlin to other parts of the town. Henry, you can't do that. So, and the median price 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when the median price was at its peak or close to it, right? Was anybody paying 6% commission? Was anybody paying $15,000, $20,000 for the loan cost? No. So even when people are saying, oh, this is the highest median price ever, well, that's not even true because you're not considering the concessions that were given now compared to 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And then you have with the median price, you have that in the factor, and then the concessions. Like I said, the concessions aren't shown. And so when buyers and in Vegas, so different parts of the country, the median price is even more skewed and more off base, depending if there's hedge funds. Because what happens, the median price, so the below the median price, if you have hedge funds that came in and bought thousands of homes under the median price, under 500, what that does is it throws off the median price. Because now you don't have the lower part of the pool because it's been taken out of the market artificially. So when you're comparing, oh, look how much the median price has gone up from 2020. Well, yeah, that's because the hedge funds bought it. Because right now the median price should be coming down because a lot of those houses would go on the market because the owners are in trouble. But the renters are in trouble now, right? So those houses aren't going on the market. So that completely skews it. And it's even more of a problem in those areas where the market below there, the median price was purchased by, look, in a 24-month period, there was about 23,000 homes that the hedge funds all bought under $50,000. So that
under 500, yeah. And to Steve's point, you're right. I mean, because their buy box is under 500.
Yeah.
Their buy box is even under the median price home today.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean that's what they buy.
And you could have every house. I would say that 90% of the houses that were sold above 500 in last month were below what they were a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
90%. Would you say that? Above 500.
Yeah, but I don't know about 90.
Okay, maybe 60%.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
the
even
median price still went up. You could have every home above 500,000 drop, and still the median price could go up because none of those houses fell below the median price.
Right.
So all this median price on how we determine prices, and it's hurting the Federal Reserve. It's hurting interest rates because the Federal Reserve is using the median price.
No, that's interesting.
With all that, yeah, they say, oh, the prices are still going up. No, they're not. No, why don't you go look at zip codes and areas and counties, and you got to break down the counties and find out, okay, well, are these house prices going up? Go ask somebody in Green Valley Ranch or Inspirata if their house has gone up the last 2 years, last year, 6 months, 12 months. Well, according to the median price, my house is going up. And I think that's one reason why sellers are so hesitant to drop the price, because every time they turn on the TV, oh, prices went up again, No, go on Zillow and look at the 10, 15 houses in your area. Right.
Well, I think the other challenge to sellers is, everybody has a decent memory, and we all saw what happened in 2008. Right? If you just would have held on, if you could afford it, if you just would have held on, everything came back and then exploded. Right? So I think a lot of sellers have this mentality of, I would like to move today if I get my number. If I don't get within 10% of that number, I'll just pull it off the market, see what happens 2 years from now. Right? But to your point, Steve, it may go down $100,000. But I think in their mind, they're thinking that doesn't normally happen. And so what do I have to lose?
Wait it up. Okay.
Yeah.
California.
But it depends on what house price too, because houses above 500-600, a lot of them have already come down $100,000.
Yeah. But I still
and in 2008, to your point, in 2008. So in 2008, you could have kept your house, or you could have done a short sale and bought another house in 2010. The people that kept their house, yeah, you broke even in 2015, 2018. Congratulations. But guess what? The people that short sold their house and bought again, congratulations. You made $250,000 or $300,000.
Ruined their credit for 2 years, but then crushed it.
Yeah, who would you rather be?
Yeah.
And now, and even back then when they did it, it didn't hurt their credit too much because so many people did it. Yeah. Where today, you're not going to hurt your credit. You're still going to have money. You're just not going to make as much. The thing is now is, and people say don't time the market. Well, after 2008, the real estate market, they've turned it into a stock market. So now if you have a reasonable guess or reasonable data to think that the prices are going to drop short term, then yeah, wait. But if you can find a house that's way under market currently, if you can find a house that's 20 or 30% under market, yeah, you buy it. You buy it. But if you're just going to buy a house at market rate and it's just a normal house, well, what does common sense think? Do you think that $600,000 house today is going to be $600,000 in 6 months, 12 months from now? A regular house?
It depends.
Probably not.
Probably not.
It depends. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, but it's also inventory. So I tell my buyers, I'm like, it's based on inventory, basically. And that's probably why the sellers aren't reducing their price too much, because of the inventory, which is not a lot still.
Well,
Under 500. Under
Go
500.
ahead, David.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, all of it.
California exodus and hedge funds buying. How is it affecting the market today, September 2025, as we go into? How
That's
is it going to
why
change
I
things?
think that's why it's
Is the hedge
affected our
fund still
market.
buying?
California.
Hedge funds don't buy like they used to buy.
Okay.
Not
the
right
numbers
now,
don't work.
at least. But they are on the sidelines accumulating cash. They don't buy because they're not going to overpay.
Okay.
It's interesting how they buy things. They have a box, right? They need to know they'll pay X, which is usually below 500. They want at least 3 bedrooms. They want the home to be a certain amount of new, so they don't buy homes from like 2005. And then the rents have to make sense, David. So if they're going to pay $400 for a house, they want it to rent for, let's say, $2,000, $2,200 a month. So if rents are coming down or stabilizing, so they'll buy like crazy. They'll buy every house available if it fits that box.
Yeah, but they
That's the problem. They already did. There's not enough of that.
They already did buy it.
And there's and
Right.
one of
they're
the
still
reasons.
lowballing what's on the market
They're
now.
going to lowball because
Yeah.
they need
totally
it
lowballing,
because
yeah.
all they are
They'll
being,
hit every single property that's listed too.
right.
Yeah.
They're bean counters. They don't care what the house looks like.
That's right.
All they care about is the cash on cash return on investment.
What
right?
about the California exodus? Is it still going
Well,
on?
to Aaron's point with the hedge funds, they've bought thousands of homes already. So when people say, "Oh, hedge funds buying is way down," well, yeah, it's way down because how much more can you buy?
Right.
You bought such a high percentage. I think in Lake Las Vegas or North Las Vegas, I think it's like 50% of them are
Really?
hedge
And
funds.
Vegas
Yeah.
was one of the top cities.
Yeah.
So they're still buying, but they just moved on to other cities where those numbers work because it's not about the house; it's about the spreadsheet.
The numbers.
And that goes back to the median price. They bought so many houses that they can't get them in that. There's not that many houses under
hard to find.
in their box.
California exodus still going? You're the California exodus king.
Yeah.
What's the story?
Right.
Oh, yeah,
They're
it's-
still coming, right?
Right now they're not coming like they were, but they're still coming. The main reason why we're seeing a California exodus freeze is because the insurance. So the home insurance in California is getting worse and worse.
Yes.
They're getting rid of Prop 102. So if those people can't sell their house for what they want, they're not going to pay for what the people want here. Number one, but a lot of people right now in California have false hope because they think that California is going to change after what's been going on and stuff. And now they're starting to come to reality. Oh, wait a minute. California is not going to change. It's going to get worse. It is getting worse. Wait a minute. Palisades being rebuilt. That's a disaster. Altadena, Eaton Fire. That's a disaster. Wait a minute. They told us they're going to get rid of red tape. They told us we're going to get. No, now people are realizing, this isn't going to be worked out. This isn't going to fix. But you know what? They pander to get enough votes to get that majority vote. And the people that are being impacted the most are like, oh, wait, this is because see what happens right now is there's a lot of people in California right now that remember how good it was in the 90s and early 2000s. And they're hoping that it goes back to that or close back to that. But it's not. And right now they have a false sense of hope that California may return to how good it was. And many of them are slowly realizing, yeah, that was false hope because they're starting to see all this stuff unravel again. Like, what the heck is going on here? Where's all that tax dollars? LA, Los Angeles, look what's going on there right now. I mean, they have the super wealthy are being robbed. And when the police are called, yeah, there's nothing to do about it. They have this high tech. They got these criminals are putting cameras in front of the houses.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the bushes and
Yeah,
stuff,
in the
right?
bushes.
Yeah.
And they're tracking when the people come and go.
Yep.
And then they get there and then they rob 4 or 5 houses on the same street at the same time. And when they go in, they take their phones and they turn off the alarm through the internet. They turn the alarm off. So they go in there. And these are super wealthy people. guard gated communities even. So this is like a third world country right now. We're seeing in LA, and these people think is stuff going to change. Look up the Encino homeowners. There's a big meeting on Encino because these Encino homeowners are going, what is going on here? And now California wants to put a line, if someone tries to break in your house, you can't defend yourself with a gun and stuff. That's all these people are buying these big guard dogs now because they might put this thing in where you can't defend your home. It's crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So the more you do that, the more people we're going to see come here. But Vegas has to keep in mind, people from California, they're not just looking at Las Vegas. They're looking
Texas.
at Reno. They're looking at
Texas.
Arizona. They're looking at Texas. They're looking at Idaho. They're looking at
Carolinas.
Utah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Carolinas. So Vegas, the sellers in Vegas have to realize it's not just here anymore. There's other places.
But I think it also goes back to what we're talking about as a whole, the challenge of the housing market. You ever hear that old saying, comparison's the thief of joy? It's the same thing. So, you have a guy in L.A., his neighbor 2 years ago, sold his house, little shack house for $1.3 million, came to Vegas, bought an amazing house.
Living like a king.
For $600,000, paid cash, and now he's come to visit, and he says, I want to do the same thing. Well, now his house in L.A., may still be worth $1.3 million, but it's probably going to take a little bit longer to sell than his buddies did, especially because the homeowner's insurance is probably,
Outrageous.
50% higher than it
Yeah.
was when his buddy sold.
If they have it.
If they have it, and that $800,000 house in Vegas is probably no longer the same house. So it's a different proposition today for those people. But I do think the exodus continues. I think Steve's point, Vegas was never the number one choice for all those exodus. Texas was always number one. But now you see what's happening in Austin. Of all, Austin
bad.
is having a crash.
Yes.
Like the rest of the country isn't, but Austin prices are down 15-20%, and that's the median price that Steve's talking about.
Yeah.
So the real price, to Steve's point, is those people probably discounting 20-30%.
With interest,
Hey, but you know why Austin is collapsing or crashing? Because these people went from a blue state to a blue town. Wait, you left California to get rid of this stuff, and you turned Austin into California.
Oh, that's
there's
terrible.
needles, there's homeless, that's so the reason why people are leaving Austin, the California, like, oh yeah, people moved to Austin, they didn't like it. Well, they didn't like Austin because it's California without the beautiful weather.
No beach. Yeah, there's no beach. There's a lake.
But yeah,
There's a nice
what
lake.
am I doing here?
what do you expect? Now, with interest rates potentially dropping September or the next several months, who knows what's going on there? What do you think in regards to pricing here? And what do you think the interest rates will be coming into September? Do you think it'll be drop a quarter? Everyone says that if it drops 1%, that things will help the economy. Trump is really pushing it in general. I mean, he's basically, I don't understand what's going on, but he's trying to get like someone he's trying to get fired to help.
He's trying to
No, he's trying to get,
Yeah.
what's the black female that's,
Well, he already fired her for the mortgage fraud. I mean, which
But
by
that's
the way,
connected, right?
he's not supposed to be allowed to fire her, but he did, and the Fed's not backing off of that. So it's pretty interesting. She probably is fired.
she's
Yeah,
supposed to be
he can
sued.
fire her. He can fire him with cause.
Cause. He has to have
How they don't have
cause.
cause.
He has to have cause. But so let me back up a little bit. So mortgage rates.
It seems like he's playing chess. I don't know the move.
Well,
Tell me.
I
You got
think I could give you some color as to
Got
what's
it.
happening there. So the Fed sets a rate, but it's not the mortgage rate. Okay, mortgage, that's a short-term rate. It's an overnight rate. It's the rate that banks use to loan to each other. Okay, it has an ancillary effect on mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are driven by economic news. So mortgage rates today are at a 10-month low because of what the words are coming out of the Fed. Because the Fed has said, in all likelihood, they're going to drop rates a quarter next month. That has made mortgage rates push down. So will it continue down? Who knows, right? But John Q. Public doesn't know that. John Q. Public hears Fed dropping rates. They think that drives mortgage rates, and so it can't help but help. Okay, I think that so we don't know where mortgage rates are going to go. I mean, it's all going to be based on the bigger thing for mortgage rates is jobs. The bad economic news makes mortgage rates go down. Good economic news makes mortgage rates go up. We need more job loss. And it kind of stinks to be in the business to root for unemployment, but that's just the way it is. If you think about the lowest mortgage rates in history, what are they tied to? The highest rates of unemployment. Okay. And so the pandemic, right? You had 18% unemployment, 20% unemployment. Mortgage rates were in the twos, right? So it's all tied together on mortgage rates. So we need bad economic news for mortgage rates to go down. But I think what Trump is doing.
Oh, is that why we have all the bad news on TV about Vegas right now? It's supposed to help us?
That does well. That's local news, but bad economic news. Like
Nationwide?
when you
A
see
nation, yeah.
like you see jobs report missed, unemployment's going up, mortgage rates will go down that day, and certainly that week. But I think what Trump's trying to do, which is interesting, is most presidents have backed off the Fed because they're supposed to be running independently of each other.
Like
So,
unbiased.
but Trump doesn't do things that way. So the question is going to be: there's no way that Powell's term is up in May.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
that's
don't see any
interesting.
way the guy gets renewed.
No.
There's no way he's getting renewed.
Oh, I thought he was in there longer.
Well, he
than that.
lasts is the
May
question.
he's out.
Oh,
His
okay.
term is over
Oh,
in May.
good, good.
So
He looks like he's not leaving. By the way, he doesn't. you
he's
know.
not going to quit. There's no way he's
I
quitting.
can tell by the
Yeah.
pressure. You know, like he's
He's
not.
not
He
quitting.
doesn't care.
No, he's
He's
not
just like
quitting.
an old guy that doesn't care.
And I think the reason why he's digging in so hard is he's anti-tariff. Clearly anti-tariff. And so he's sending a message.
He's a globalist.
Yeah, so he's sending a message to Trump by saying, I hate the tariffs. I'm not lowering rates because of your tariffs,
Yep.
because there's too many unknowns.
Yep.
So now they're butting heads on a daily basis, right? Trump is saying, I want 1% Fed rate, right? Now that would certainly drop mortgage rates, but maybe not the equivalent to that, right? So, but the question is going to be, because Trump named Powell. Powell was a Trump appointee last time. Who would he name this time, and how loyal will he be to that 1% number? Probably not the 1% number, but
Yeah.
you would have to imagine Trump seemed to have learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
From the first term
Yes,
to this term.
yes, yes.
He doesn't make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Good.
He doesn't take people's advice that are not for him anymore.
Yeah.
He makes sure now that they are loyalists to him
Yeah.
before he puts them in. You can see there's a difference, right? And so
Agreed.
will that next Fed chief be an extreme loyalist to him? And if he is, yeah, we're going to see some chaos because he'll probably come in. He won't do it all at once because it would create havoc. But you could see a very slow roll to go from, I don't think going down to 1, but maybe 3 or 2, and
100%.
down,
Who's getting crushed right now because of high interest rates? The middle class.
Middle class, always,
No
yeah.
one has hurt the middle class more than Jerome Powell. He jacked up in pre-pandemic or before the pandemic. He wasn't doing things right? But it wasn't that big of a deal. But during the pandemic, everybody admits now he waited too long. So he created all this inflation that hurt the middle class, but helped his elite buddies, right? And then he waited to get reappointed by Biden before he increased the rates. And then before the election, he dropped the rates twice. Wait a minute. Who is being political about this position now? Okay, who's being political? And then if you look at some of these Fed governors, wait a minute, Lisa Cook or whatever, go look her up. Do you think she's really qualified to be in that position? Regardless of the mortgage fraud. Look at her credentials. This is crazy. And then look up the Chicago governor, Goosselby. This guy used to be on Fox News all the time with Hannity and all these guys, and he was in Obama's economic team, and he was always on, before he was the Fed chair, he was always talking about anti-Republican, anti-Trump, and this guy's coming out saying all this negative stuff about the Trump plan. Well, wait a minute, the Fed is supposed to be nonpartisan. And then you got Jerome Powell, whose buddies are the elite, and talking about the tariffs. Well, guess what, Jerome? You've been wrong about basically everything the last 5 to 7 years, okay? And now even, what's his name, Mohammed El-Iran, he was on, I think, Bloomberg or CNBC today saying, no, it was CBS. You got to watch this interview. This guy is completely...
Not for New York, right? Not the New York guy.
No.
okay.
And he was saying... the CBS was trying to, make Powell look good, and he was saying, no, all these mistakes are made. He needs to drop him now. We don't need to wait to September. You remember in 2008, everyone's like, oh, we got to wait till the next meeting. No, you don't. You can have a meeting right now, and you need to drop the rates right now because go ask these people paying all these credit cards because you allowed inflation to get out of control. You said that it was going to be transitory, and now these people with these high credit cards, they didn't do it to live above their needs. Their credit cards are maxed to fulfill their needs because they're using it for food.
Yeah.
And now you have them at the highest interest rate ever. You need to drop these rates now to help the middle class. He'll go down as the Fed chair that hurt the middle class more than any other Fed chair.
Good. I mean, it's only a couple more weeks, so he's not gonna go have a meeting early.
No,
right,
he's not having emergency meetings now.
So we went over a lot of basically the market overview in Vegas, but normally I get different problems that people come to me with. So I want to actually share a problem with you, and I want all of you to tell me what your thoughts are in regards to this situation. So a lot of people are getting phone calls from people, right? Do you want to buy your home? It's like all day long. It's so annoying, right? Like, do you get all these calls,
all
right?
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you flip those
I
people
get
when
like
they call
20
you?
of them
Do you
a
say,
day.
do you want to become a realtor? You want to come to Platinum?
I don't know how
Like,
we can take their calls.
you just hang up?
Yeah. So look,
I
I always feel like
answer.
there's a way, like, I want to do something with it. I'm always like, There's no way you have any.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
No.
My phone filters those.
Actually, when they
calls, so I
call
don't
me,
even
I
get
say, by the way, do you know anyone got into a car accident or injured?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Hey,
They're like, what are you talking about?
Well,
Like,
most-
well, you call me.
A
this
lot
is-
of time it's AI now or people out of the
that's crazy.
country or people call center. I mean,
Okay,
I don't know
But
who's.
So
is
here's
that the
AI.
problem? You want us to tell you how to flip,
AI.
how I would flip the call if I were you? Is
Yeah.
I'd say, look, you're obviously a great salesperson. Why don't you help me sell some stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
That's a good one.
Click.
Well, I click them too,
But
but
you know what? You sound absolutely amazing. And meanwhile, it's a robot on the other side.
if it's a robot,
Yeah,
then
and
you
a
got
lot, a
problem.
lot of the AI, you can't tell they're robots now unless
Oh,
you're
it's hard
talking
to
to them for a
tell.
little bit. Yeah. So people,
Okay.
agents are cold calling right now.
So a lot of people calling basically trying to make a deal, right? Like we buy houses cash and stuff like that. So here's the situation. I want to hear your perspective on this because someone called and said, "Here's my situation. What do what would you do?" So you could tell me any aspects of it.
Let's hear it.
Who?
Let's hear it. Let's go.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so first of all, the person lives in Vegas, but they also have a home in Bullhead City.
Okay.
So first of all, what's your take on Bullhead City? By you living in Vegas, Bullhead City, in regards to owning a home, investment, not owning.
Not very many properties over there available though.
Why? People like it's cheaper. Like what's the reason
Yes,
Bullhead
yeah,
City?
well, there's a limited supply
Okay.
of what
Lake
was built
Havasu.
anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this person's looking to basically sell their home, and they were offered, one of these phone calls, and they sent the contract, which we'll get the contract. Basically, they said, "Look, we'll give you $50,000, and we want to do this all-inclusive trust deed. We want to take over your mortgage. The mortgage rate is 3.75. They owe 281 grand. The home supposedly is believed to be worth 375. Now the mortgage is basically 1,800 a month, and then probably rent could be 1,800 to 2,000 a month. So it's kind of like a break-even situation. I guess the first question is, by them offering 50 grand and tying it up in AITD, are they looking to, if you think about it, they give 50 grand, do they want to just basically sell it? They get it tied up in AITD, and then they just put it in market and then they sell it, because technically if it's worth 375, or it's really worth 375, and they give 50 grand up front, technically maybe they can make 30, 40 grand. Are they really trying to take over the mortgage because of a low interest rate? Or are they really just trying to tie it up where like the person, have the AITD and then they just try to flip the property to make the difference?
And
What's
it's not
the
seller financing, right? They're not asking the seller to finance it.
no? But they're using the same mortgage, all inclusive trust deed, right? Is when they're
yeah,
basically
so
using
basically,
the same
yeah,
mortgage,
they're using
right?
Oh, it
seller's
is.
financing it basically.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But but you're not getting rid of the mortgage, which also means you don't really know if they could stop paying the mortgage
Right,
for a
you're
few
toast.
months
Assumption.
and affects your credit.
Yeah, yeah.
You do AITD?
I have. Well, I'm negotiating some deals now.
Okay. So I'm just playing with you. So we have a little thing going on about
Whatever,
So
yeah.
long story short, I guess my question is, what are they trying to do? Is it worth it? Would you do it? And I will share with you. Some people say, "Oh my God, this is great. I'm getting AITD. I have this low interest rate. It'll never go down through 3.75. Even if it's paying itself, I'm acquiring a home at this low interest rate." Now, what happens if you're trying to do it as an investment and you can't rent it out? Right? It's costing you $1,800 a month every month. I don't know what the market is in Bullhead City, Arizona. I don't feel so comfortable about this situation, but what are they trying to do? Are they trying to really flip it?
Either they're going to
what's going
flip
on?
it or they're going to rent and make a little cash flow. What do they care? They're
But
not
there's
taking any
but
risk.
there's no cash
Worst
flow.
case scenario.
What's the cash flow?
50,000.
Yeah, they're $50,000. That's
Yeah,
worth the
that's
risk.
what
I mean, they're getting equity, so I mean, it's typical. That's common.
So do you don't think they're just trying to gain the paper and then basically try to flip it and make
They
like
may.
40
It's a
grand?
wholesaler,
They may
right?
wholesale it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be a wholesale.
But you also are responsible. Like you're going to be screwed if they miss the payment. Like there's no way
Well,
of.
you could put it in the contract that when you make the payment, or I get line of sight, I get access to the payments every month. If the payments come through my escrow account, you can do stuff like that.
So
can
if you see
protect
they're not
yourself.
making the payment, then you basically
Well,
you're
you say
on top of
the payment's due on the 10th or whatever
Okay.
it is, and it goes through this escrow company, and the money
it.
goes
Like a loan
in,
servicing company.
and
you
then
use.
we all
Okay.
get to
Wait,
see it.
the
or-
mortgage information doesn't change at all. So are they assuming that
No,
loan?
no,
no, so
Oh,
they
they're
can't.
not.
They're
Oh,
not allowed
okay,
to.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's still your loan, so that person's loan, but you would definitely want to make sure.
To me, it
the
was only
mortgage-
good when people were upside down. I have one property like this that I've done this as well. When the property was upside down, they had no choice. My guy was doing
Yeah.
some drugs, but I only gave him $5 grand to take over the property that was upside down, 80 grand. But the cash flow, because the mortgage was 700, and now you're renting it out at 1,500 to 2 grand. I just don't like the fact that you're not really cash flowing the property. Fine, you get this great interest rate, 3.75, but is it worth the
Well, they
risk
might
of
live there too. But you know what? Switched up a little bit is what we were talking about earlier. You did a post the other day about something, and a comment about the Canadian buyers.
Okay.
So are they not coming to Vegas because of tariffs? Are they not coming? Well, when you look at the numbers, the Canadian economy, and like we were talking about, is really getting hit hard. People think, that the Canadians are going to come back. Well, the Canadian whales are still coming here. right? It's the Canadian economy that I think is really having the impact on Vegas and other places, because even the Canadian beaches are not seeing a lot of tourists from Canadians this year.
But what's the reason why?
Well, go look up the Canadian economy, and then go look
It's
up
very
what's going
expensive.
on. Well, the Canadian economy, I think what their taxes are 42%. I think they have the highest. Canada is, you can finally find a place that you like California. Okay, well, Canada's the perfect California without the weather.
Some areas have nice
Oh,
weather.
I see.
Yeah.
Government-wise.
But I think on your
Yeah.
wrap question, I mean, I wouldn't assume that somebody's doing something shady. I think it's just a different way to acquire real estate.
But do you think that they're going to just try to flip it and make money, or you think that they're
We
just
don't
trying
know.
to? I was just curious of what your take on.
I
it.
mean,
Would you do this? Do you think this is a good
I
investment?
I think most people that do.
If you're
wraps
the
are-
buyer, go ahead. I mean, what do you got to lose? Nothing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're the buyer, the 50 grand, you're saying you get 50
Yeah,
grand
big
in
deal.
this equity, so
Yeah.
you can still sell it.
and you get the rate.
But if you're an investor, would you take this deal? Like if I came to you right now, like I got this deal.
No, if that was my house, no.
No.
But as an investment, would you take this as an investment
Sure,
for
I'd do
rental
that.
property? You would?
We got there's no downside.
But you have 50 grand in the game, right?
Yeah, you got 50 grand. You could rent it out, and you already got $40,000 equity. So what do you got to lose? Nothing.
Yeah,
That's if it stays the value, because that's the concern right now. Like 6 months
that's
a year.
the concern no matter what you buy.
And I don't know
Yeah,
Bullhead
exactly.
City, Arizona, right?
Yeah.
So what do I tell this person? How do we solve this problem?
Are
If you're
you
an
the
investor,
buyer or the seller?
No.
Which one are you?
no, it's just a problem that came in.
Oh.
Well, is
Well,
it
they
the
want-
buyer or the seller?
Yeah, buyer or seller?
The person wants to purchase this as an investment.
Oh yeah, why not? What do you got to lose?
If the seller's willing to
If
do it.
all the what you said is correct, then yeah, their downside is if the property drops 40 grand, then yeah, you're gonna break even. And you know what? Bullhead might be. You got to look at the local. We don't know what's going on in Bullhead. If the rents are going up, yeah, that's a good deal. If the rents are going down, prices. I mean, I don't see how
Most people would
Bullhead
say
could
it has
fluctuate
cash
so much.
flow.
What's
Like if you told me there was cash flow,
what's the
probably
sales
go.
price of the property?
375.
Yeah, so he's getting it for less than 20%. So if you bought it just a regular investment property, you have to put at least 75,000 down.
281's what the mortgage is, so they're going to get 50
Oh,
grand.
Got it.
So let's look at it. So the alternative would be if I'm an investor, I just go to Bullhead City and I buy an investment property, right? But if I buy something for 375, I got to put 20% down minimum. So that's 75,000 plus closing costs. Plus my rate's going to be 7, not
Okay.
3.
6.
Is 6 is a 6 on that deal?
No, this
No,
one's 3 point something.
3.75.
3.75 versus 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So it's not going to cash flow. So that's a better deal.
Yeah.
But you would have to protect
Less money down, but it may not cash flow. It'd be nice if I told you.
this may cash flow because of the low rate.
Yeah.
Probably will.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, they're saying that the rent and the mortgage would probably be, the rent could be
So even
18,000.
break
About
even
the
for
same.
today because rents normally go up.
Okay.
Right. So if you're an investor, you're assuming that I'm going to get 3%.
If they're
increases
asking
per
about
year.
this property, they shouldn't be buying it because any experienced investor would have already bought it. So tell them move on.
Well, they send paperwork in general. The question is it a scam or not? Remember,
No, it's-
people calling from all over the
But
world,
yeah,
right?
but-
I'll send some paper. In the contract, who knows what it says?
But you know what you do if you're afraid of that, ask the person who's selling it to them. Hey, how many of these have you done in the past?
Okay.
I'd like to call some of the people in these deals.
That's a good one.
See, make sure they're legit. I mean, you should do due diligence
okay.
for sure.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting problem because, like I said, this stuff makes me nervous in general because you don't know who you're dealing with.
That's the
But
question,
you
right.
have it reviewed by an attorney and so on. But to me, it's like, but my other thing is that if you just sell the property, you're just making 50 grand. Like, just get out of it. Like, why would you want to be responsible? It doesn't. If I'm the seller, why it doesn't help me? I'm getting 50 grand. I'm not making monthly money. Like, just sell the property, and you probably can make the 50 grand there too.
Well, you don't know.
And be rid of
Minus
it.
Today's
fees.
market where it's slower, and maybe he was on the market for
Okay, that's a good point.
6 months and couldn't sell
But
it.
technically, if you could sell to make 50 grand, then just get out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But and then the last question is: 50 grand taxable or not taxable? He gets the
Yes.
50 grand. It's taxable, right?
Yes.
Well, it depends on his basis of the home.
Oh, yeah. Like if
right,
it's
so, yeah.
primary or
Because he's just
something.
putting into deed. It's not really a sale, right?
No.
You're putting it right.
It
It's-
is a sale.
It is
Yeah,
a sale.
is.
So the 50 grand is
Capital
taxed
gains.
as well.
Yeah, it's capital gains. I would assume.
It depends.
It
what he bought.
depends what he paid for
Yeah,
the
we only
property.
paid for it, right?
Got it. So the tax could be a situation. It's not. It may not be a full 50 grand.
Nope.
It could be like 30 grand, 35
Yeah.
grand, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to pay tax.
Depending on-
20%.
depending on
20%.
Or 20, what,
Is normal?
23, right? Roughly? Yeah.
So-
Capital gains is 23.
capital gains
you
and
have
then
to
his
pay it.
tax bracket.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. These are actually kind of interesting problems. I think the average person, like they're getting phone calls now, a lot of phone calls, and they're offering like this creative stuff,
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. But again, I don't know Bullhead City. Sometimes you drive through the town. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll
But
tell the seller to counter. That's what I would tell them to do.
to kind of make it higher.
Don't,
Okay.
don't just take it.
All right, so we have a few minutes left. We went through a lot of different things in general. Is there anything specific? We could talk here all day long. See,
All day
each
long.
each of these topics are basically it is a good hour. I guess the last thing we have, because it is about an hour now.
Yeah.
I guess the best thing right now, because there's a weird time. The one question that I had here was for homeowners looking to sell, what's the best strategy for pricing their property in today's market? Because it just feels like a weird time. People have fear in general. And I think that it seems like people are trying to sell what you said. They're trying to make money. And if they don't make within the 10% you said, that they'll hold off and they'll wait. Yeah. But then it leads into another question here. Like a lot of agents say, oh, just come over to me. I could sell your home better, which is a lot of fluff. How the hell are they going to sell better than the other agent? Because I think people are moving over to different agents. You get a postcard in the mail,
Not really.
That's your home for 1%. So I guess my question is, what is for a person that wants to sell, how do you know it's not hype? I mean, you could do some due diligence, right, and see who they are. Most people don't do that.
You have to show the sellers the numbers and the realistic stuff that's going on currently, right? So what I do is I do.
They don't want to hear it, though. You know that, right?
No, that they do. No, they do. If you explain it correctly and if they respect you as an agent already, then yeah, they will. And you're the one that kind of advises them, like, look, this is, and so I go by, okay, this is the inventory right now. This is, your neighbors or whatever, so this is your competition or not. And so when I get a listing, we go by those numbers, depending on that area, not all over, right? Obviously, I tell them about the whole market as well, but yeah, and so my sellers listen to me usually, right? But I'll say, okay, look, here's the range. I understand you might want to be here, but you may not sell it. Are you okay with not selling it for 3 to 6 months? If you're okay with not sitting on it for a while, then fine. Then you can place it at this price, right? But if you want it to go, then you need to place it here.
I guess the two things what she's saying is someone said clear expectation, and then someone's reasonable for the fact on a weekly basis for it to go down, let's say $5,000, every single week to basically sell it. And then the person has to be reasonable. If they're not going to be reasonable, then don't get the listing in general because
and as a good agent,
it's not worth the headache.
Or as an experienced agent, yes, you have to prep your client for all these different things.
And I think you got to have a conversation with the seller. Are you really a seller, or are you a seller at a certain price?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're really a seller, I will sell your home.
Yes, correct, 100%.
I'm going to sell your home. If you're truly a seller, and you're really motivated, I'm going to sell your home.
Right.
Right? You may not love the number at the end of the day, but I'm going to sell the home.
100%. How funny are we? From like 2021 to 2024, all these realtors are saying, I'm the best marketing. If you want the highest amount for your house, it's my marketing. Marketing is the number one thing that's going to get the top dollar for your house. You market it, you're going to get, whoa, wait a minute. Now, all of a sudden, the last 6 months, those same realtors are saying, hey, you have to price your house right. The number one factor in your house selling for top dollar is the right price. Whoa, wait a minute.
You just told me it was marketing.
Are you lying now? Or are you lying then?
Remember, the market has changed. Yeah. It changes, so you have to kind of go with the flow.
Yeah,
of what the market is.
That's a sales thing.
Hey, 5 years ago, the most important thing was price. Today, the most important thing is price.
It's always price.
But when the market was going up, everyone was trying to differentiate themselves like, oh, pay me more because I have a better marketing.
Yeah, I'm going to put on social media, and I'm going to do this. And
well, you're supposed to be a top value agent.
I'm going to get you more views.
Those are based on,
And talk about the social media. Hey, realtors, when you see people selling their social media course, and they say, oh, yeah, 80% of my business is from social media or from TikTok or whatever, go look at the transactions they've done. Oh, yeah, you got 100,000 followers. Who knows if they're real or not, first of all. Right. But wait a minute. 75, 80% of your business comes from social media, but you've only closed 2 houses the last 24 months.
But most people wouldn't even know to call a title company to do a check.
You don't have to. You can go on
Zillow, right?
You can go on Zillow. You can
I
go
don't
on the
think people
local
know
MLS.
how to do that in general, like to go to Zillow to see.
Well, realtors should because
people are really intelligent these days.
I mean, like these coaches, you've seen it. I mean, Aaron's been coaching for what? How long? 10, 15 years?
10 years now.
Yeah. Aaron's one of the best loan officer coaches because he actually does the business. He closes loans. He's got experience. He's got knowledge. That's what you need to find in a real estate coach. These real estate coaches are like, it's
they don't
unbelievable.
Close anything.
They don't do business anymore.
Yeah.
They're not even in the
Zero.
business anymore, right?
No, they all took a class on how to be a real estate coach, and they got out of real estate, better real estate coach, and some of these agents are falling for it. But now it's being exposed. But a perfect example is you see these real estate coaches that haven't done any business. Literally, they've done like 1 or 2 transactions. They took a course on how to be a real estate coach. Now they're pitching that. I mean, all the loan officers that you coach, they know that, wait a minute, this coach not only is telling us this, he's doing it.
Yeah.
And not only is he doing it, he's one of the most successful persons at it in the country. So if I copy what this guy's doing, I'm going to be just as successful. I'm going to be a lot more successful than I am now. How do I know this? Because he does it. He's doing it right now. Not 3 years ago, not 4 years. He's doing it right now.
Those are the best mentors.
Yes, and if you're going to pay a real estate coach or a loan coach, you got to make sure they're getting results in today's market.
Right,
That's a
right.
different market for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate you guys joining us. I feel like we could talk about this forever.
Yes.
Long story short, we're gonna have to
Cut it.
we're gonna have to cut it short. I think people we lost them at hello. But no, these are great topics. I actually think that we need to have kind of like a live, like you're doing live feeds, and people can ask real estate questions as well. Even though we talk about these different topics, I think like the
Yeah,
one.
but then we'll get these questions like this AIT that takes up 10, 15 minutes on a simple question.
But the only thing about this
Ask
is
for the questions ahead of time.
but what's good about we can do that. We can do questions about them. I like that one, real estate questions. But what's interesting about this,
More
I think
people
this,
watch his videos
yeah.
in a 3-hour period than live in Bullhead City. You know that, right?
No, but it is interesting because this can this can happen in Vegas or somewhere else in general. But the
That
bottom line
seller
is
knows already. He's
no, but I
listening
think what
to
it comes
us.
down to is this is like a real life situation that people are going through. Should I take it off or should I not? Because they're getting phone calls for, hey, we'll buy your home. So instead of, do I use a realtor? Do not use a realtor? Do I use an investor? What about this guy, Andrew the buyer? You know, I close in 5 days.
Well, we could have covered that, but you were talking about the ITD in Boulder City for 15
Exactly.
minutes.
And this,
No,
we
you can do-
solved,
you
but
do
today we
YouTube-
solved the
you
problem,
do-
which I don't
you
even know what the problem. I don't
you
even
do
know how we
YouTube-
solved it.
You do
solved it.
YouTube
But you think it's a good
live,
deal.
and then you have somebody monitoring
Yes.
the
Yeah, the
questions.
Scenarios.
Yeah.
All right, so we will.
We'll call you, Dave O. Rogan, the problem solver in Las Vegas.
Dave over
So
there.
if someone has a problem in the future with real estate or has a question, they'll send us in advance. That's good. We can have the questions in advance.
Yeah.
And we can go through them because I think it's actually interesting, different thoughts. So
if
anyway,
you have any real estate issues, just send them to me.
Yeah.
And then I'll
let's
send
do
them
some
to Steve.
questions as well to get some
You'll call
information.
Steve for the answer.
Otherwise,
Big G or AG, whatever one you want.
anyway, Aaron, thanks so much for your time. Steve, as usual, great information. Janti, thanks so much as
Okay.
well. Again, if you have a problem, real estate issue, for the next episode, I think we'll answer some questions. Let's get some problems in general. We can go through some of the scenarios, especially because it is a weird time and people are fearing and not sure what to do. And they're getting a lot of these phone calls. And I think it's concerning. People don't know what to do. Like I said, several people have come to my home that basically stated their problems to my wife in general. And I think that it's interesting what you talked about today about the forbearance, because again, we don't know the future. If interest rates go down and they basically there's more equity, then and they're in safe haven for 24 months. By not making payments, maybe they're in a better situation. Then they save their money from what they have, even though it's less money, and they're better off, 24 months from now. I mean, I honestly, if it wasn't this conversation today, I would not have that mindset.
Yeah, and
Good,
don't
good.
forget, when the rates drop and you need a refi, make sure you call Aaron to refi because he's been in the business for many years, done thousands of loans. And even if you're not going to use Aaron, ask him to look at your loan and audit the refi for you.
Okay.
Because you want to get a loan officer like Aaron that doesn't need to close the loan.
But if you do
He,
the
doesn't
loan,
he can
Hey,
retire.
Aaron,
So
you
you,
need a-
want
you-
want a loan officer that doesn't have commission breath, that doesn't have to make their next payment on their house based on your refi.
Oh, that's
but
good.
doing a loan,
You
what's
need
the
a
loan
jingle,
modification?
Aaron.
Doing a now I'm losing my track.
Okay,
Doing
just
a
end it.
what's the
Refi-
loan
refinance?
modification? Loan modification?
No,
No,
refi.
Refi.
Not loan
not
mod.
refi. What's the other one we were just talking about before?
Forbearance.
Forbearance. You have to make sure that it doesn't affect your credit
Yes,
because that's a problem if you want to
Yeah.
refinance.
for sure.
So
For
that's
sure.
an important. That's
You're going to have
that's
to be probably 12 months out of forbearance to refinance.
12 months out of refi. Okay, that's a big deal. Okay.
That's- yeah,
Anyway, thanks so
okay.
much, Problem Solver, Dave Kohlmeyer. The Problem Solver.Vegas, 702-999-111. You got a problem today, real estate update as well. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one. See you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.